Hello, folks. Fletcher here, and I am delighted to introduce to you our runner and commentators. mchan, could you start us off?
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Power Up with Pride. My name is mchan338, and would you guys like to introduce yourself?
You go ahead first, Matt.
Yeah, sure. Hello, I'm Phantomet.
And I'm Rhythmical, also known as Entropy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm very excited to be back here again. For those who have followed with Power Up with Pride lore, might recognize that I did a run of this game back in 2018. Back then, I was only a 6-month-old runner, and now here we are 6 years later. A lot has changed. Last time I ran 100%. This time we're doing a slightly lower percentage of the game. And there was a bid war as to which category I am running. So, which category won the bid war?
You will be running No Save and Quits.
All right, thank you guys so much.
Woo.
That was we have a no save and quit here. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so this is any percent no wrong warp out of bounds and no save and quit, which are 3 major restrictions that make up the this run. It's a very old category, essentially it's if you're familiar with Link to the Past, where their main category is no major glitches. It's essentially that with this game, as this game is a huge broken mess. And so these major restrictions pretty much allow us to go through what Link's Awakening is as a game, while still showing off a lot of cool tricks that define Link's Awakening as a speedrun. Now, this game is a very technical game, and I will preface that it is very hard for me to talk while playing this game. And so I am fortunate enough to have Matt and Zintro here to be doing much of the commentary as I focus.
I don't know, we could let the elf do it.
We're, first thing you're going to do is get the sword. I think you have to get the sword no matter what category. It's just absolutely required. The game won't let you do anything without it. But you see that he actually got the sword before the owl even took off. It's because just like a split second after you use go through a chat menu of any kind, or you close a chat, where a text box, I should say, where Link can actually move a few pixels. And so if you get close enough to the sword, then you can actually pick it up, and while the owl is lifting off.
We're gonna see an interesting application of that in a couple minutes, like, I don't know, 8 or 10 or so. But we're gonna head up here to the Mysterious Forest, grab, I think, some rupees, a mushroom, and then...
I'm not going to be doing that round this run.
Alright. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've had to commentate Squoob.
Yeah, I'm not the most familiar with this category myself, but the thing I'm least familiar with still is like exactly how many enemies you need to get and where, but that's just because I've never actually played this category.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
count
so we
to
should probably
30,
explain this
and then it stops mattering after you have to not count to 30.
Yeah.
So we're gonna line up this moblin in a good way. So he's
nice, first try.
And he shoots an arrow in our back and we get across.
Okay,
Skipping.
What was that?
Nope, that's not it.
No, but you should have pressed down right there, and then you should have pressed A.
It is possible, it's very precise, but it is possible to get, just completely skip that owl. As soon as the owl lands, again, you have, like, a few, you can move a few pixels. And then, just transition down the screen. But there's a specific pattern you have to do with your menu, stuff like that, and it's really tight. It's like frame perfect, I think.
Yeah, you have to open the save menu one frame after open the chest, and then you'll have that just enough time to leave the screen before the owl talks.
So this is Trendy Game. And Trendy Game has won.
Yeah, much
You
better
can-
than the remake.
You can time it so that way you position the claw after you enter in order to just get the magic powder very quickly.
I learned the hard way once in a race that it's possible to kind of make the game get stuck. Where if you hold B and then press A while still holding B, then like you can't do anything. You can't pick up anything. It just soft locks you.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, you don't
Did
want
that
that to
in a
happen.
race
But
once.
oh my gosh, I died! The run's over.
Yay!
Oh, no.
You can play a better
Yup.
category.
You also have one of the pictures.
Yeah. So, what happened there was mchan stole, which is something that you can do in this game. Promptly was murdered by our shopkeeper here, is now named Thief. And stole again because, morals. Who needs
Like,
them?
well, I mean, who's gonna pay 980 rupees for a bow?
Kid Matt, Kid anyone else who played this game.
Oh, not me. I always stole it.
Mm, can't believe it. You were a criminal at heart, even from the start.
Oh my god, yeah. Okay, so from this point onwards, I am counting the number of enemies that I kill. So why don't one of you guys explain what that entails?
It's the pizza power.
Yeah, so after a certain number of kills, that changes depending on how many heart containers you have, the game will drop pieces of power and guardian acorns, although I think the guardian acorn has a different...
Yeah, Guardian Acorn's
Criteria.
12 kills. And I think it actually uses one of the kills that contributes towards piece of power. So, like, if you get an acorn drop, then you still have to get an extra kill.
Yeah, that's correct.
And what these do is piece of power increases your attack power, like double damage, right?
Yeah, double
And
damage
increases
and
your
increases
move speed.
The movement
And
speed is
increase-
the main reason why we want it.
Okay.
The damage is actually almost a detriment sometimes because it launches enemies to the other side of the room. And if you need to kill everything to open a door, you have to wait for the enemy to get hurled to the other side of the room before it dies. And that's slow.
Oh yeah.
But the movement speed is pretty substantial. And it really adds up over the course of dungeon. But it's mostly only beneficial if you get it during like the first quarter of a dungeon. Because it's not that much of a benefit. But it's
Oh.
enough to be faster overall.
Oh yeah. Then hopefully we won't see the guardian acorn, so we won't have to explain it.
Yes, I think another thing also is Guardian Acorn only drops every 12 kills if you don't take damage.
Yes.
And I think
that was
taking
the
damage
criteria I was
resets
thinking
the
of.
counter.
Yeah.
So ideally, you want to take damage before 12 kills, and then you won't have to get as many kills to get the piece of power. Otherwise, you would actually get 32 kills for the piece of power.
So while mchan is here murdering bosses, we should explain the heresy that just went on. So walls in dungeons are made out of ledges, and if you clip into the wall and jump away from it while doing certain things, you will fall off the wall and do a trick what's known as a super jump, which gives us a lot of air and gets us to places where we shouldn't go, like over key blocks.
Or just over entire walls.
Mhm.
You know, I've seen super jumps so many times that it just didn't even register that you did one.
Oh no, I knew. It works every time. And everybody's like, wait, what? What's going on there?
Yeah, so we complete the first dungeon now, and now I'm gonna be getting a lot of kills as we make our way to the next dungeon.
Yep, and as long as it does it right, you should get piece of power right at the start of D2.
Yep.
2 or so rooms into it. And then I'll have it for the entire dungeon. Now, one of the annoying things about piece of power, there's kind of a trade-off. Like, in the remake, it only lasts a certain amount of time, I think. But you can use it into caves and dungeons, no matter where you pick it up. But in this version, as soon as you enter a cave, like if you pick it up in the overworld and then enter a cave, you just lose it. However, it otherwise lasts indefinitely. So if you want to get it as early as possible in a dungeon instead of outside of the dungeon, because as soon as you enter the dungeon, you're just gonna lose it.
Alright, so we're gonna go in a cave here and be told that we are an assassin sent by one Madame Meow Meow to go rescue a mutt.
There's also a dungeon a little later on where you actually want to lose the piece of power before the final boss, because of that knockback thing that I mentioned before.
Turns out that enemies have iframes if they're being knocked back, and that's not good. Hey, look, the mud.
In
Perfectly
in
friend-shaped
glitchless,
dog.
in glitchless, we actually try to get a piece of power before in the Moblin Cave here, so that you can one cycle the Moblin.
Well, you can one cycle them like that? That's
You
interesting.
can. It saves like 3 seconds or something. It's not much. Alright, so here's the text box thing. So you see how he moved slightly as the text box, or as he pushed into the rock, and then as the text box disappeared, he moved again. That actually allowed Link to shift in between the rock and the wall.
Alright, here we are, Dungeon 2. This is the
Because-
only required use of powder.
Yeah. We did the trendy game specifically for that. And there you go. That's the pizza power.
Congratulations,
call it.
Mchan, you can count.
And you can see how much faster I'm moving.
That's something interesting also about piece of power is if you jump with it, you actually go your normal speed without it.
Yeah, so in other words, you
Ideally,
move
you
slower
don't-
when you jump.
Normally, you actually move faster when you're jumping diagonally, but if you have piece of power, you're moving slower. It's the only time you don't want to jump while moving diagonally.
So, an important thing to note is piece of power only lasts for 3 hits. That was 1.
Yeah, I said indefinitely earlier, but that's assuming you don't get hit. And
Another
as soon as
boss.
you lose it, the killer counter resets.
So coming up to the booze room, we're gonna be doing it a little bit different than usual.
We didn't mention how
Like
overpowered
that?
the bow was.
Oh yeah, the bow's broken. If you haven't seen already. I
Also,
like
piece of
it.
power allows you to grab things quicker, so you can see how fast I'm grabbing these pots.
Yeah, that's another fun little benefit.
Okay, worst room of the game. Give me some good
I mean,
RNG.
worst room of the
That's
game.
good.
This room is fine, man. Just learn the names of the enemies.
Pretty good. I'd be happy with that room.
Mhm.
Sometimes that room can just be nightmarish run killer.
Yeah, and it's especially a problem in here because if you get bad RNG and you have to reset the room, and that can affect your kill count.
Yeah, it's even worse in Nobu, which was the other bid war option, where because you can save and quit after you get the bracelet, you would normally just leave the dungeon and come back later when you have the magic rod and the boots, because you can get to the rest of the dungeon quicker that way. But that also means going through that room with other items that just make it harder to do. Like you can still do it the normal way, but if you want to do it faster, you have other options, but it's also quite a lot harder to do that way.
Don't you normally like bomb arrow that room?
Yeah, well, I think one way you can do it is you shoot Stalfos with the magic rod, and then you use a bomb arrow on Bull's voice and Mickey's before the magic rod flame kills the Stalfos.
It's tight timing. And
Yes, it's very tight.
Yeah,
the
we
second
should
boss of the game.
yeah,
died.
we should have talked about Genie there. That one had quite a lot going on there.
Yeah, so basically what happened was we hit the pot like we're supposed to. We stuck it in the wall, threw it, so the pot broke instantly. Bombed the genie once, and then shot it with a bomb arrow, which first appearance in Legend of Zelda here, to kill it.
Indeed. Yeah, the genie dies in 2 bomb arrows, and what you do is two bombs. So you place a bomb in a spot where the genie gets knocked into where the door is, and then you bomb arrow from there. And then you're just right in front of the door. You get the heart piece of the container. Clipping in this game can be pretty broken.
There's a reason why we restrict it so much.
Yeah. Alright, so then come up is one of the largest sequence breaks in the game, which is called Villa Skip.
The super jump we mentioned earlier requires clipping.
Okay, there we go. So we want to talk about that.
Well, we'll talk about how it took four tries. I'm sorry. So, well, you're supposed to go to Candlelit Castle, go collect all these golden leaves for Richard, and he'll give you access to the back of the villa here, but we can just sort of pause buffer onto a pit until we land on the tile in the menu bar down there, and then transition down.
And you have to do it as you hear the sound of Link falling. So it's like you transition at the moment that you fall, but it seems to prioritize the transition, and then you just skip the entirety of Candlelit Castle. You never even look at it in this category.
Doesn't exist, it's just a hole in the middle of the map. Now here we have Dungeon 3, Key Cavern.
Now an okay time to hop in for a moment.
In a moment, there's a couple things to talk about, like right now. As coming up, we have a trick called the Dongo Skip.
So the Dongo Skip uses a super jump. What you do is you hold the sword outward. What you need to do for a super jump is you need to basically slash in the direction that you're going. So if you already hold your sword out, you're already facing that direction. And then, and while you're in the air in your super jump, you release your spin slash, and that will clink off the Dodongo and push you to the right over the block. And if you do it a little bit wrong, you can actually get stuck in the block, and then use soft block.
Yeah, and that's especially a bad thing in this category, since no save and quit is not allowed.
Indeed, yeah, if you have to close the game, I think you just go right back to the beginning, don't you?
You go back to the shop.
I mean, assuming you saved after dying in the shop, yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty detrimental to the soft block in that room.
Yeah, and then now coming up is Slime Eye, and Piece of Power saves 10 seconds in this fight.
I prefer the other name for this guy. I think in German, I believe, it's Gigazol.
Yeah. Much better name, to be honest. I prefer that simply because there's 2 bosses named Slime something in this game, otherwise.
Yeah.
And with that, Dungeon 3 is done, and I think now we have some time to talk.
Excellent, thank you. Just wanted to remind folks that we have a ton of awesome incentives and bid wars that you can put your donations towards, and we accept any size of donation. You want to donate $100, $10, $5, even $1, every amount helps. We also have a $1 donation from Aaron Lore, shout out to Aaron Lore, saying, did you know that you can select both a pole and a target? That's true, you can select both one of the incentives and a bid war, so make sure that as you put in your donations on Tiltify that you change that tab and select both of those.
Okay, so the run's been pretty straightforward so far, but here's where things get a little strange, and that is that our next dungeon is actually going to be the 6th dungeon. And so, as a result, we're going to be significantly under-equipped, and so this is actually the hardest part of the run, as we're going to be going through enemies that do so much damage, and I could very easily die at this point.
There's also the concern of Bow Wow being too hungry.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I remember I mentioned, like, you ideally want Piece of Power at the beginning of the dungeon, But Bow Wow just likes to eat enemies whenever he wants. And if he eats too many, there's a chance that Piece of Power will actually drop before D6.
If it seems like one of the commentators is rather cool on this category, that is the reason why. Because it really is just an RNG fest at this point to see whether or not your run will be good.
Okay, audio
And it
cue's
all
on.
depends on that dog.
Uh-oh. Hold on. Okay, we're good.
There you go. Good job.
Okay, now unfortunately my HP is looking a little dicey here. Dying is really bad in this category because that resets my piece of power count.
That's not good.
Yeah, this is not good.
If maybe one of the enemies here will drop hearts. Oh wait, they don't.
Yeah, I'm actually ahead of in kills, which is actually not a good thing.
Fine, just don't let him eat the cutscene.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
those guys
Bow
are
Wow eats
real nice
cutscenes.
to me. Okay, good.
Yeah, so before it happens, cutscenes are entities that you can trigger. Specifically bomb trigger, sort of. So we're just gonna jump up here. Bomb the wall so that way the cutscene spawns in a way that Bow Wow can eat it and we skip it. Done.
Later on, we use a rock instead of a bomb arrow.
I'm get this guy out of my way.
If only you had the boomerang.
Yeah.
So it's not, like I said, this is the hardest part of the run. Okay, at least we got piece of power. Hopefully I don't die though.
Well, it's the worst place for it to spawn, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little bit. Alright, let's see.
It's okay, just...
Okay, we're good.
Woo-wee!
Okay, alright.
Living life a little dangerously
Alright.
there, aren't you?
I'm not even considering dying anymore.
I admire the risk. Okay, so the reason we go to D6 first is because of this very annoying ghost that shows up after doing D4. Unless you collect that bracelet that you just got. There is a flag in the game that prevents the ghost from spawning after D4 if you have collected that bracelet. For some reason, it's that bracelet. I don't know why. It couldn't have been anything else.
Well, I mean, it makes sense to me. It's a flag saying that you're past that part of the game. And normally we wouldn't be expected to be able to get there because
Nice.
Couldn't they have made the flag like some thing right after D4, like after the ghost spawns? I feel like they could have picked something else. But I didn't make
anything
the
else
game
would have been
so.
inconvenient. Like, Hookshot already has enough attached to it. Really, this is to say that level 2 bracelet doesn't have much. All it does is let us pick up things very slightly faster and pick up those elephant statues. It has nothing else going for it. Just let it have this one.
Yeah,
Alright,
they
any
could've
horse
done
head guessers in chat?
Oh, 1.
1. Oh, okay, bold
Oh,
move.
yeah.
17.
17.
Alright.
5th try. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my gosh, how did I know?
Rigged.
Yep. Those are my favorite hearts in the entire game, because it's in this dungeon where I'm usually very low in hearts by this point. Even though it comes at a point where, like, I don't really need hearts.
It's comforting to know that they're there. And plus, it's like a reward for finishing horse heads.
D4 is next, right?
Yes.
Should be.
That means Walrus skip,
Yes.
and that means our first instance of a bomb trigger.
Yeah, you're right, huh?
Yeah.
If you thought the game was already crazy.
Yeah, this is the single. This is a very broken trick. Yeah. So we defeat a hot facade. Takes you just place 5 bombs and then you win. Coming up is probably the scariest part of the run. So I don't have flippers, so I still need to get out of D6. And so I'm going to be doing a series of lots of Jesus jumps. It's all frame perfect, all in a row. So I'm going to ask for quiet until I get out of here.
And then I'll explain just.
There's a bomb trigger that I can go for. I'm gonna save bombs for later. Nice.
That was
Yeah,
solid.
good.
Okay, so those were Jesus jumps. I'm sure you can figure out why they're called that. And the idea is when you don't have flippers, there's a small window where Link can just jump off of the water. As long as you see that splash, then you can jump. And it's pretty simple from there. And also you have to buffer it. You can't just like jump from as soon as you see a splash in real time. You have to jump out of a pause buffer.
Alright, so bomb
And that-
triggers.
Yeah, that's a bomb trigger.
And this is a very specific bomb trigger because this is soft lock potential. So hopefully we did everything correctly, and we did. So the run continues.
Why do I have a feeling that would be even more disastrous if that failed and was included?
It's very disastrous. But unfortunately, I did have a backup save file, but we don't have to worry about the backup save file anymore.
That's a good idea to have a backup, because it's pretty easy to soft lock there.
Oh, dang. So I was not supposed to fall down there. That loses about 20 seconds, but that's okay.
Also, you may have noticed that you just shot 2 arrows into absolutely nothing. There's supposed to be a Lenmola there, but you can kill a lot of things before they even show up on screen. Like you saw him drop 3 bombs onto Facade before Facade ever showed up.
Okay. So we now are going to go to the 4th dungeon, and it's a pretty long way up to the next dungeon. So if you have anything you want to say before we get to the next dungeon, then this would be a good time.
Great, thank you. Well, I would love to read off this $5 donation from Anonymous. Thank you, Anonymous. Saying, in honor of one of the best boys, Chain Chomp, I'd like to see more pups. And that is a great reminder that you can donate towards the dog dungeon. That incentive is going to be met pretty soon, and that is a lovely help towards that. We also have all those Earthbound polls for various names, including what will save the world, like trans rights. Those are pretty wide open, so just about any donation to one of those bid wars will make a huge difference. You can !donate into chat to get the link to donate to True Colors.
So this looks like a bit of a detour, but it's really not. It's actually required because you need to be able to open up the dungeon before going into the dungeon, which is a kind of a common mistake that some runners will make.
Well, the one time I was doing a no stew run and I forgot to open D4 and I was just stuck in the water.
Just dying infinitely.
You lose so much time if you realize at the very end that you did not open up the dungeon. So the owl here is talking to me because I beat the 6th dungeon, so he assumes I'm on my way to the 7th dungeon.
We never explained how a bomb trigger works, did we?
Oh, no, we didn't.
Kind of did.
It's really complicated. There's stuff about like menu slots, which I don't even understand. I've never really tried to.
The very simple part of it is you place a bomb, you transition, you place another bomb, and then stuff happens.
Yeah, it's like the game doesn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
And so it triggers things like cutscenes, and you can even grab heart pieces with it. That heart piece you just passed, in 100%, you actually use a bomb trigger to grab it, instead of going all the way around to where you're supposed to normally get it. It just takes a couple minutes.
Yeah, so this is D4. This is a good time to mention something that mchan had said in passing. Saving bombs. This game also has resource management in the forms of bombs and arrows. And they're very valuable. At the end of the game, we will need at least 16 arrows to kill a boss. And we really hope we'll have enough arrows to kill a boss. Bombs are less urgent.
There's actually a way of getting that key with a Jesus jump and using it to clip into the rock to push it that way. It's especially in 100% where arrows can get pretty low by this point, it's really handy to be able to save an arrow.
So coming up is a really cool super jump. Hopefully I can get it.
Now you're gonna do the cool way or the other way?
Sorry.
So you're doing the one that's a whole 4 seconds slower.
Yeah.
Can't believe it.
Only slower because of the menuing, I think.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm gonna kill that enemy because I still need some kills, as I do want piece of power for the next dungeon that we're gonna be doing, and hardest boss in the game. Okay, let's go.
Just like that.
Simple.
Yeah. So when you're doing that casually, when you don't have bombs and arrows, you just simply swim at a certain spot and just mash sword. So it's a really easy fight.
Yeah, it's dungeon 4 done. We are more than halfway done with this game already.
Yeah, everything goes by pretty quickly.
A few months ago, I was going through D4 in the remake, and I was like, where do I actually go normally?
What do I do? What do I do? I had that moment with D8 when I was doing my remake stream of it.
Yeah, after I did so many speedruns of this game, I decided to go through it casually, or do it like a few dungeons casually. I was like, I have no idea how to do this.
That's a mistake. You don't want to do that.
That's what speedrun does for you.
You just become so ingrained in doing things the fast way.
So here is, I think, the longest dungeon in the game.
Yes, that's
correct. This is also the one where you don't want piece of power for the final boss because of the iframes thing that happens with it. Well, we can explain when we get to the boss.
Yeah, it'll be a bit. But the main conceit of this dungeon, Catfish's Maw, is it'd be really easy to get the dungeon item if it wasn't stolen. by the mini boss.
Or if we had the boomerang.
No,
Yeah,
you
that's
don't
for
want to
another
do that.
category. But yeah, so Piece of Power is really good for this dungeon because it's a very long dungeon. There's a lot of walking around, so you save like 20 seconds in this dungeon with Piece of Power if you can keep it throughout the whole dungeon.
Yeah, the other problem with D5 though is it's so
okay.
easy to take damage. It's so long, and these enemies are so easy to take damage against.
Yeah. So who wants to explain this upcoming trick that I'm about to do on Master Salthos?
It's easy. We're gonna kill him.
Specifically, it's gonna overkill him. So normally he only takes 3 hits to kill, or to actually make him flee rather than kill. But if you shoot an extra bomb arrow at him, he just dies and he drops a key. And you can use that key to skip a little section of the game later. For some reason, they programmed a key into that boss.
Well, it's like a placeholder for the boomerang's trigger, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Because he drops an item, he drops a key, but in the last room where you fight him, it's scripted so that way any key turns into the hook shot, which is why it works when we pull it in using early hook shots. Boomerang.
Yeah, and that's only done 100% because it's the only category where it's actually worth getting the hook shot or the boomerang. Because you have to get it.
Required by laws. Whose laws? Well, we made them a long time ago. When the Earth was young.
All the way back in like 2015.
Ugh. What were you doing in 2015, chat?
Okay.
Here's a fun little super jump called the Naked Super Jump.
Yeah, and then coming up is a really precise dash jump in order to get to the Nightmare Key earlier than intended.
And I think the damage you
Oh,
take
dang.
from falling does contribute toward the 3 hits to lose piece of power, isn't it?
No,
Oh,
It doesn't? Oh,
it doesn't.
really? Huh.
Yeah,
oh
so
that's
two-
really good then.
Those
Thank
two
goodness.
fails didn't count. Otherwise, I would have lost it by now because I took an intentional damage earlier in this section. So I'm still at 1 hit. But yeah,
Okay.
so that dash jump is much easier with Piece of Power because you jump farther with the increased movement speed. And you have a larger frame window to make it. Otherwise, normally in the save and quit version, there's actually a somewhat consistent setup that you have to set yourself up on in order to make that jump.
And I gotta be honest, when you were describing these categories in chat before the run started, you confused me utterly. Because you referred to no wrong warp or out of bounds as the save and quit category, when this one is the only one that has save and quit in the name. So I thought you meant this one when you said the save and quit category.
Yeah, so we finally got the hook shot, and now it's time to beat the rest of the dungeon, as we already got the Nightmare Key in order to complete the dungeon. There is a bit of a... since we haven't seen this game since 2018 at this marathon, there is a bit of a new way to end the dungeon, which is called hookshot clipping. And it saves 3 seconds. And it looks really cool.
Yeah, it's a lot cooler. We're gonna hang a left here instead of going straight up into
Just
the
like that.
staircase.
And I'm going to get hit by this upcoming Goomba, because I do not want Piece of Power for this boss.
Man, this game is well made.
And that is the last time we'll be routing in Piece of Power.
It gets untenable from this point.
Yeah, I think once you hit a certain number of card containers, now you need 35 kills. And then as you get
40
even more...
actually at this point.
Oh, is that 40 already? Oh man.
Yeah, because I need 35 in order to get this piece of power that I kept throughout the dungeon.
I think it goes to
Every 3 heart containers that you get increases the kill count for the piece of power.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see how quickly he was able to slash the boss. If you had Piece of Power, there's a slightly longer amount of time you need to before you can actually damage the boss with a slash. And ideally, you want to get the boss done in 2 cycles, like 2 times of him leaving the wall. It is possible to do it with Piece of Power, but you have to have the boss coming out of a wall that's further from you, so that you have more time to do slashes.
Yeah,
And so
way less
that's
consistent.
just, it's random. Like, if he shows up in a close wall 2 times, then you have to 3-cycle the boss, and that loses a few seconds.
Yeah. Okay, so we already completed the 6th dungeon, so we're gonna go to the 7th dungeon, and while we are making our way back to the mountain, there is time for donations.
Excellent, thank you. I'd love to remind folks that we are coming up on both the Mini Ghost and the Landstalker, the Treasures of the King Knoll sessions. So be sure to get your donations for both the Dog Dungeon as well as the Mini Ghost upgrade to 100%. You can do !donate in chat, and any amount is super duper helpful.
So taking this warp portal here, it'll take us to the mountain quicker. As we make our way to the mountain, there is a kind of a trick that we didn't talk about the first time that we were in the mountain. It's called obstacle skip. People like to hype it up a lot. It barely saves any time, but people like to hype it up because it looks really cool if you can get it. So hopefully we'll get it.
Oh,
I already
people
got
like
one.
to hype it up, and it's not worth much, right? Just like not saving and quitting. Huh. I thought.
So round 2, hopefully. Hey, we got it.
It's a
Biggest
valid
half
run.
a second saved. All right, but coming up is Rooster Skip. So you guys better talk about that.
Yes. There is a 1-frame window when the hookshot fully retracts while Link is over a pit. Where
If
Link
I
can-
may, real quick, there's going to be menu buffering that's going to be like flashing. So if you're photosensitive, that's a thing.
Thank you. We'll let folks know when it's okay to look back.
Yeah, so there's... I'll be signing here.
Wait. Okay, there we go. Woo! That was very close. But yeah, photosensitivity warning over.
Yeah, we're good.
Alright, so yeah, the point of the menu buffering is to help with the timing. So you just use the map. When you open the map, it advances the game 4 frames, and every pause buffer advances the game 1 frame. So you can use those kind of buffers to help with certain tricks. In this case, you use it to line up the hookshot in such a way that you could be on the exact right frame to actually do that jump. It is possible to do it without buffers, but it is way harder. And you have to do 2 frame perfect jumps. 2 frame perfect jumps in a row, back to back. And if you fall, it's like a good 30 seconds or so to get back.
Yeah, very punishing if you fail it.
And the game runs at 1/60th of a frame per second. No, what is it? 60 frames per second.
Yeah,
That's
oh,
the phrase
man.
I'm looking for.
Okay, so what I was trying to do there was I was trying to throw that rocket away to where Bao eats the cutscene right as I unlock the dungeon. I didn't get it that time. That's okay. Now we only lose just like 6 seconds.
I'm trying to imagine a game that would run at 1/60th of a frame per second, and how
Okay,
wild
so
that
this
would
is
be.
Eagle's Tower. It's a extremely broken dungeon. That super jump that I just did right there already skips half the dungeon.
The rest of the half of the dungeon is going to be known as bomb triggers, because that's all we're
Yeah.
doing.
You're supposed to use a big metal ball to knock down the pillars, but we have a different kind of ball. One with a fuse. We use 2 of them for each one. One for there. Actually, in this case, you can actually drop 2 bombs into the pit within 4 frames, instead of just doing it at a transition. And that'll also work.
Bombs
This
are my
one,
favorite method.
gonna
of
blow that
demolition.
one up, and then within 4 frames he drops one into the pit.
Yeah. And then coming up is another trick. Wasn't shown in my 2018 run. It's called Goomba Surf. So,
Best name.
yeah. So there's 2 Goombas. They both have a 1/4 chance at going to the direction that you want to go. So it adds up to being a 50-50 trick. Pick up these bombs. I still need bombs. Come on. You're taking... Okay.
From what I've been told, just don't wait.
Alright, there we go. Yeah, so that saves I mean if you get perfect luck, then it can save 15 seconds over the other strat. But what I just did there still saved a little bit of time. And now come up is the Eagle fight. So it takes 3 bombs to defeat Eagle. So all I gotta do is just place 3 bombs at a specific time, like this. And the Eagle will just run into the bomb. There is another strat in the save and quit categories where if you save and quit, then it sets up a glitch to where you can actually hit Eagle off screen. But this is no save and quit, so we don't actually which is why I had to fight Eagle this way. It's kind of a commonly asked question in my streams.
Yeah, there's something about like when Link moves onto certain screens. What I found was some of the warp screens with those warps that you see around will make it so Link cannot use the hook shot off the screen. So some categories you can route it out so you can avoid that, so you don't have to save and quit. Save and quit takes a few seconds.
So now that I completed Dungeon 7, on our way to Dungeon 8, Mare will be captured, and unfortunately, one thing that people like to do for donations incentives for Link's Awakening is having an incentive to save Mare on the bridge, but we don't have that this time around, so we're gonna go for the faster option.
Because that's like, it feels like 5 minutes.
It's
not quite that long, but it's pretty
seconds.
long.
You lose a minute if you have to watch this cutscene.
Yeah, but when you're speedrunning, 50 seconds feels like 5 minutes.
50 seconds feels like a short amount of time for me to hit the reset button.
Yeah, she's actually very easy to skip. You just stay at the very bottom. But if you go, like, I think even 1 pixel higher, that will trigger the cutscene.
Yeah, about a couple pixels up, then yeah, it's a very large hitbox.
There's an even more fun way of getting across that bridge with using the boomerang, where you can... It's like you bonk on the wall as you use the boomerang, and it'll fling Link to the other side of the screen.
It's...
Called Zoomerang.
Yeah, it's like a dash towards the block, but then you hold towards Marin, and that's what flings you.
Yeah. So that was Flame Skip. Skip's needing the Mirror Shield. You might notice I didn't actually pick up the Mirror Shield in the 7th dungeon. And then coming up is another bomb trigger. I actually need to do this because you might notice I actually never picked up the ocarina, nor am I going to. Coming up is a very hard fight. Let's see if I can survive this fight. Oh, okay, let's go.
You just said some weird words. Mirror Shield? Ocarina? What are those things? Those belong on a Nintendo 64.
Yeah, no, I've never heard of them.
Haha, never will. Yeah.
And it means we don't get to hear the best songs.
Oh, we can. They're just in the Switch version, because they're just better there.
I disagree with that regarding the actual best song.
You are entitled to your opinion, as anti-Woomy as it is.
So I just did a hookshot clip in order to clip that locked key block in order to skip needing a key in order to get to Blano here. Oh,
Here's another really easy fight. By that I mean really hard.
yeah. Took a little bit of damage there.
Don't get punched by Blano, because he'll send you back to the start of the dungeon if he whirlwind punches you.
Yeah, very bad.
He's also got a stun jab.
Also, for anyone familiar with Oracle of Seasons, you may recognize Blano. You may also be wondering why there are Goombas and a character who looks like Mario.
There's also a character who looks like Luigi. Our response to that is, it's just a game, man. It's fine. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Here's Lava Swim. Just like with Jesus Jumps, you can set up a specific moment where Link can kind of jump off of the water. In this case, you don't have flippers, so you can't just swim in the lava. Unless, for some reason, you slash your sword to the left as you're transitioning.
Oh, what the heck? Uh-oh.
And for whatever reason, Link can swim in the lava.
Okay, there we go.
Look, it's fine. It's comforting.
There is also, I think, a few spots where you don't need to slash the sword. It's something about subpixels, I think. And slashing sets up your subpixels.
This game has a lot of subpixels. So in this turn, there's 27 different combinations to go about with this room. This is one way.
This is a very weird way.
I think the number of times you need to pause buffer on Bill Escape is also subpixel based.
Yeah.
So there's your Lava Jesus jump. And here's Hothead.
Oh.
Hothead is an interesting boss.
Indeed. There's a couple of regions in the room where he just will not take damage.
And he hurts a lot if you somehow get hit by him. He does 4 hearts of damage, so it can be a pretty scary fight.
Yeah, but it's fine. He's dead. As he also will tell us, so is the rest of the island when we go wake up the Windfish. That's right. This game is actually like Undertale. We're committed.
Oh my gosh, this is my first time playing this game. How could you spoil it for me?
Look, it was already spoiled if we could read Japanese.
Alright, so all the dungeons are now completed. Now it's time to beat the game. You might be wondering how we're going to beat the game, because you might notice we never even did any of the training sequence, which is normally required in order to actually beat the game. And you'll see in a moment.
So if we were playing the save and quit version, as confusing as that is to Matt, then we'd normally go back into D2 at this point. But because we cannot save and quit, we have to do all the dungeons all the way through.
Okay, so this is a kind of a customary thing in Link's Awakening and marathons. We are going to listen to the music, so here we go. Okay, so a lot to explain. So, go ahead and take it away, guys.
Go ahead, Matt.
So, because we never got the magnifying lens and we did not read the book in the library in Mud Village, there is a default path through the egg. It's left, left, up, right, right, up, left, up. And that is what we're going to follow to get to the final boss. Now we're going to do a bomb trigger going into the pit for the final boss to skip the long spiel going, oh, you're going to destroy everything. We want to live forever, or whatever. And
also take away the music.
Take away the music, which is the important part.
It's unfortunate we don't get to hear the music, but it is very important that we do not have it, because music rolls RNG.
So now we're going to position ourselves. Right, go ahead.
So, what mchan is going to do is manipulate Aghanim, or his movement, I guess. He's going to do specific movement and position himself properly so that Aghanim always shoots an energy ball instead of the non-reflectable blue balls, as we call them. And as a Link to the Past player would be familiar with as well. So sometimes he needs to be 1 pixel away from the wall.
Mm.
It looks like he didn't.
So now it's RNG.
50-50, baby.
Yep.
Okay, 1 is fun.
1 got me the 113 in glitchless, where you cannot do them in it because it's a glitch.
If it works, it works. So this boss is sort of like a greatest hits of bosses throughout this game and some other games. So you'll see stuff like Moldorm here from the first dungeon. You'll also see Ganon.
Yeah, the only time we see Ganon. And he's not even the final form.
He's superseded by a Landmola, of all things.
Yeah. The Landmola that dies in 1 spin slash. If you blink, you'll miss it.
Yeah. Speaking of blinking, traditional for all Zelda games, you gotta stab something in the eye. With arrows 16
Oh,
times.
nice. Okay, time's coming up.
That was a really good Death Eye. That's the kind of Death Eye that everybody wants.
Don't like it.
There are times where he can take... I think one time I counted 40 seconds.
Time. 55-51. All right.
Good run.
Aside from the D6 mishap, everything else went really well, so I'm really happy with that.
Nothing happened in D6.
Yeah, everything went according to plan. Yeah, so my PB is 5401, which I got earlier this Monday. If anyone wants to is interested, and if you like what you saw and you want to learn more about the game, I stream this game as well as the remake version of the game, as well as other Zelda games, quite often. So I'm live about a few days a week at twitch.tv/mchan338. I'm also a YouTuber. I make Let's Plays on YouTube at youtube.com/itsmchan338 if you want to see some variety content out of me outside of speedrunning. I'm really grateful to be back once again. Power with Pride is an amazing event, and the cause that we're raising money for, True Colors, is a great cause. I also want to thank the Power with Pride staff for letting me run this game again. I ran this back in 2018, and I wasn't really happy with that run back then, so I'm glad I got to have another chance this time. So, would Matt and Zintra would like to say anything before we close off?
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, that was fun.
If you guys want to learn how to play this game, we have a very well-written guide on our speedrun.com page. And if you join the Discord server, it's rather quiet, but people will answer your questions if you have them.
Yeah, and also for the remake enthusiasts, we're potentially having a tournament for its anniversary on September. So if you are interested in learning the remake, that is, then feel free to join our server, and there's also tons of resources for that version as well. So I guess if there's nothing else, much else for us to say, then I guess that is it for us then, right?
I think so. Thank you for the excellent run and commentary, folks.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. And enjoy the rest of the marathon. Please donate for the good cause.
We'll be coming right back to you with Arzette, the Jewel of Faramore, and I'll be passing off to Alistair Jasu. So stay hype and stay tuned for more.
Hello, everyone. My name's Alistair Jasu. I'm going to be here for these next few runs. Once again, this is Power Up with Pride 2024, benefiting True Colors United. We have a bunch of fun stuff coming up. We have Arzette, Jewel of Faramore, which came out this year. It's a spiritual successor to Zelda's Adventure, if you're familiar with that. We will have Mini Ghost, which is an indie side-scrolling Metroidvania. We have an upgrade to 100% incentive for that one. Kind of getting close on that one. This next run is going to be pretty short, so we want to get that met. So get your donations in like now, so we can get that. We really want to see that 100% run. We're also going to have Landstalker, which is that was one of my favorite Sega Genesis games growing up. It's like a classic action adventure game, and we have an incentive for that one as well for Dog Dungeon. So definitely check that out. And we're going to have a bunch more full runs coming up tonight and tomorrow. So you can do an exclamation point schedule in chat if you would like the full list. This next run, Arzette, is going to be coming up shortly, so stick around for that, and we'll be back in just a minute.